everybody. Welcome to Going for Two. I'm Ian Nickel, Parker Terrell right next to me. And Parker, as we're recording this, it is 3/16 day.
What?
You excited to pick some games?
I am. It's the best time of the year. March Madness. Um, sorry, I'm trying to log in here to my ESPN account so I can get this officially going here. Uh, of course I'm ready. Of course I'm ready to pick some games.
Heck yeah. Well, I got the bracket pulled
This
up
is my
here.
first official bracket right here. What we're about to go through right now will be my first official bracket. Obviously, I have looked at the bracket, but this will be the first time me making picks.
I couldn't help myself, so I had to fill one out right away. And so I will be probably making some changes, but yeah, I'm ready to go. Yeah, let's do this thing. Um, you got it pulled
Give me,
up or
yeah, 1 second.
okay? I, you want to talk about the Oscars because I didn't watch any of the movies, but I know you're a big movie guy, so I'll let you have the floor on that real quick.
Okay, we're in.
Sweet.
We are in. Okay. Yeah, so, the Oscars has become kind of pretty easy to predict over the last few years if you pay attention to so every single one of these uh, awards has a guild. So there's a directors guild, there's a screen actors guild, there's a screenwriters guild, production, et cetera, et cetera. So if you look at kind of there's like precursors is what they call them. So like the Directors Guild Director of the Year is going to be who wins at the Oscars. Um, it didn't used to be that way, but especially in the last like decade, it's kind of become that. Now this year there was some back and forth between Sinners and One Battle After Another. Of course, One Battle After Another won Best Picture, Best Director, Paul Thomas Anderson, legendary director. This was his first Oscar ever was won um, last night, I believe. Let me check that actually. For when he won the screenplay for One Battle After Another. Let me make sure he didn't win for There Will Be Blood. Quickly, I
Believe
went
that
and
movie
saw.
also,
Go ahead.
sorry. I believe that movie also went Best Picture, one battle after another.
Yes. So yeah. So when Paul Thomas Anderson won for best original screen or best adapted screenplay, for One Battle After Another. That was his first Oscar win. He's widely recognized as one of the best directors alive. So this was really his coronation because he won. He wrote the screenplay, co-wrote the screenplay, but he got the award for it. Got the Oscar for that. He got Oscar for best director, and then of course best picture went to his movie. Now, usually like the producers are who technically win for that, but it's his movie. I loved Sinners. I think it was my favorite movie of the year. I've been saying that. I went and saw it in the theaters multiple times. It was really cool to see it win multiple awards, such as Michael B. Jordan winning for Best Actor. That was huge, and that was a late um, breaking thing. It was Timothy Chalamet's To Lose, all throughout the season, and just over the past month or so, it kind of became Michael B. Jordan, who won for playing the twins. So um, he has a dual role in that movie. So um, wasn't a lot of surprises on Oscar night, but this year was one of the best years in film. I encourage you to go and watch all 10 of the nominees for Best Picture because they're all good movies, truly. Just a couple of shout outs. Uh, a lot of people really like Hamnet. Um, F1 is a fun movie. They got a Best Picture nomination, along with There's international movies if you're into that, like Sentimental Value. Uh, a movie that didn't get nominated for Best Picture out of South Korea, Decision to Leave from the master Park Chan-wook. I recommend to go out to seek out and watch. So yeah, overall a pretty a long award season if you're into that. It's basically all year essentially that culminates at the Oscars, and one battle after another took the top prize. A good movie.
Very nice. And I told you off camera, I hadn't seen a single one of these movies, and I don't I don't think I have a good excuse other than I'm just watching sports. So I don't, hey man, it'd be like that, I guess. I don't know. I need a Sinners has been on my radar for quite some time. I need to get on that. I watched the only thing I watched from the Oscars was the Conan O'Brien stuff. Big Conan O'Brien guy.
So
He had a great monologue, had a good
yeah,
cold opening.
wish that they would make him the Oscars host for life. There was a bit about that, making him the Oscars host for life,
Hmm.
but then he gets replaced by Mr. Beast. I thought that was a funny bit because the Oscars telecast is going to YouTube in 2029. Um, but he should be the host forever. They won't do that, but he's the best at it. So there
Right
was
on.
some really good. One thing too, I'd like to shout out. There was some legendary deaths in the movie community over the last year. They always do like an in memoriam section, but specifically there was three: Rob Reiner, Robert Duvall, or not Robert Duvall. I think maybe his death was too. I was surprised that he didn't get the same treatment as Robert Reiner, Robert Redford, and then Diane Keaton. Especially the Robert Redford tribute from Barbara Streisand, I thought was really beautiful. And then she ended up singing, which she never does anymore. So that was beautiful. And then Rob Reiner, of course, tragically murdered by his allegedly his own son, along with his wife. Again, allegedly, but to if you've watched movies like The Princess Bride or A Few Good Men or Stand by Me, or When Harry Met Sally. Those are just absolute legends, uh, legendary films. And Rob Reiner directed all those, and it was a tragic death. He was, if you watch the show The Bear, he had a recurring role on that recently, and so he was still very young, very, um, or he wasn't old, and he was pretty much uh, murdered. So really sad. And I thought that he got a really nice tribute from Billy Crystal, um, who used to be the Oscars host as well. So I encourage people to seek those out if you're into movies.
Yeah, he was the Oscar host for a while.
Hmm.
I'm trying to remember. Do they only do like from the year 2025 and then onward,
The movies or
or
the in memoriam?
the in memoriam?
Yeah, so it's like from March of last year to as soon as they can do it.
Yeah.
Like I said, Robert Duvall is a legend in movies, and he recently passed away. So maybe they just didn't have quite enough time. Like the production into this starts a
Hmm.
long time ago. So he probably will be. I think he was recognized just in the in memoriam. They may do something bigger for him at some other point. But yeah, it's from kind of like March to March if they
Okay.
can. But um, yeah, Robert Redford. If you don't know who that is, you know Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, All the President's Men. He was a
Natural.
Oscar, yeah, the natural Oscar-winning director as well for Ordinary People. Um, he also directed a really good movie called The River Runs Through It with Brad Pitt. So another Titan did pass away this past year for sure. Hashtag
Yeah.
movie guy.
Movie guy. That's yeah. I well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Excited to see
Obviously,
Project Hail Mary this week. That's coming out with Ryan Gosling. I'm gonna go see that in IMAX this week.
very nice. Yeah. My parents and my brother are really excited about that one. They read the book
Yeah.
and they're rearing up for it. I have not read the book yet. I don't know if I will. I'll go see the movie though. And then I
Movie
think
looks
we talked
great.
about. Mhm.
Movie looks great. Book's great.
That's good. And then I'm still kind of shook over Donald Glover being casted as Yoshi. Like that's just something I never expected. I think we touched on this last week, but I think that's just super funny to me, and I can't wait to see that movie.
Fun fact about Donald Glover: the lady who won Best Cinematography for Sinners, first ever woman to win this award, frequently collaborates with Donald Glover for his music videos.
Really? Oh,
Yep.
how
Her
about
name's kind
that?
of hard. Her name's kind of hard to pronounce. Autumn Kapaw. So there you go. Little segue for you.
Very nice. And now let's
Watch
bracket.
Sinners. If you have
What?
HBO Max, watch Sinners. You can knock out both Sinners and One Battle After Another. They're both on HBO Max. But I would encourage you to watch Sinners first because it's just a good movie, like all around. One Battle After Another is also a good movie, kind of different. It's really long, but Sinners is just a good old fashioned vampire genre good movie.
Very nice. Yeah, so yeah, I'll try to watch that at some point. Don't know when, but when I do, I will give a review back here. And let's run through this bracket, shall we? It is March
Yep.
Madness. The bracket is out. I guess before we start, did you have any issues with the bracket or anything like that?
Not really. We kind of talked about this off air. Um, I think that now it's saying that I'm not in a group. Hold on. The only thing that I really had a problem with was St. John's kind of got hosed. You tweeted about it. Um, but all in all, I think it was a solid bracket. OU did have a case to be made to get in. They end up being the first team out. So tough, tough if you're an OU fan. Um, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes when you lose a lot of games in January. So they
Yeah.
fought hard at the end. They did end up. I thought it was interesting bringing back Porter Moser. Um, that wasn't exactly a given, but they decide to bring him back, and I guess that they've made a commitment to giving a little bit more NIL money. So uh, good for him. Good for them. He is a good coach, and people were really singing his praises um, after all that. Calipari and everybody were talking about him, and it sounds like the OU athletic department felt the same way.
Yeah. No doubt. I don't hate the move at all. I like Porter Moser was great at Loyola Chicago. What I am kind of curious about is what was the difference between OU, Texas, and on Texas A&M? Because I believe OU beat them 2 out of 3 times. Uh, Texas was ice cold down the stretch, while OU was red hot. Found it a little interesting that was the move made. I get why, so I'm not like super upset about it, but I think it would have been really cool to say the popcorn machine catching on fire got them to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that would have been funny. A funny bit for sure. I think the more egregious would be SMU. Um, they had a really basically they a lot of people point out um, struggled a lot down the stretch and were like one loss away probably from being flip-flopped with OU. So, I mean, you kind of have an American athletic team versus an SEC team. There, Texas also a bubble team ends up getting in. Miami of Ohio getting in. NC State getting in. Also really struggled down the stretch. Losers, I believe, of like they're like 1-9 down the stretch. NC State tough in a weak ACC. Um, but again, OU. I mean, just a couple of those games in January, and maybe even in December, and you find yourself on one side of the bubble or another. They did get an invite I saw to the CBT.
The college
Um,
basketball crown, yeah. They
yeah,
declined
or
the
CBC.
NIT in favor
Yeah,
for the college basketball crown, which I thought was interesting. Um,
Oklahoma State got a 2 seed in the NIT. They did accept. They will go to Tulsa to play um, in that side of the bracket. So good for them. Good for Coach Lutz
Tulsa
and
region,
some of
yeah.
those seniors.
I Tulsa had a weak non-con, but getting 25 wins and I think 6 losses is super impressive. So kudos to them. They're the 1 seed in there. They'll take on Stephen F. Austin, which that's a great matchup as well. I think that's an exciting matchup coming down the pipe tomorrow. But enough of all that. Let's go into this bracket.
Yeah, so we'll start on the East.
Yep.
Um,
So
we'll get to the first. The way it works, like once we get to the first four, I'll pick, but it doesn't give me the option just to only start with first four. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah.
So we'll start with the East with the number one overall seed, Duke Blue Devils, taking on Siena. Shout out Siena, but I'm taking Duke.
Yeah, I think you gotta go Duke here. There's no doubt about that.
The loss of Caleb Foster still looms for later in the tournament. They are going to
Mhm.
probably get Patrick Ngongba back at some point soon. Foster, they've said that if he comes back, it will be closer to the Final Four, which is not even a guarantee. So you may as well just pencil him out, which is a big loss. But they did turn it around after that. Would have been a terrible loss to Florida State in the ACC tournament. Um, they turned it around to beat blowout Clemson, who was playing well, and then beat a really good Virginia team that a lot of people are picking to make the Final Four. So this Duke team is loaded. I mean, you got to start at the top um, with Boozer, um, Cameron Boozer. Many people say he's the third best player in the draft. Now people are even starting to bump him down to fourth best player because of our guy. We'll talk about Darius Acuff. If he's the fourth best player in the draft, this will go down as one of the greatest drafts of all time because Cameron Boozer is an absolute dog. And we'll see how he fares in the tournament. Not all great players play well in the tournament, but if he plays really well, really well, then man, he should cement himself to me as I don't know how he wouldn't be a top three pick. He does everything well. He has a really high motor, um, and he yeah, he's just super savvy already as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I mean, he has the genetics. That's Carlos Boozer's kid. Carlos Boozer's a dog. Cameron Boozer's a dog. So, moving on here, Ohio State and TCU. Great 8-9 matchup.
Yeah,
Uh,
tough matchup right here, right off the bat. Ohio State is hot. Barely losing to rival Michigan. TCU is a team with arguably the most underrated coach in the country, Jamie Dixon. Man, let's take a look here at the preview. Um, of course, Ohio State ended their regular season with a win against Purdue, the eventual Big Ten tournament champion. A lot of people are picking Ohio State. Some of the advanced stats here: 9 seeds Since 2018, 9 seeds are 18 and 10 versus the 8 seeds. Overall, 51, 9 seeds have won 51.9% of the meetings. Whoo. Who'd you have?
I picked TCU. Think they're a better matchup for Ohio State, and I think that the Horned Frogs will take advantage of that.
Well, I don't know what just happened to my bracket. What in the
David
world?
Punch is an absolute dog, and they've been competitive with a lot of the great teams in the Big 12. They beat Florida at the beginning of the year. Beat Florida, went down to the wire with Kansas twice, beat Iowa State.
Yeah, I'll
Like
pick TCU. I'll pick TCU.
very capable. Yes, yes. Then
St.
St.
John's, St. John's, Northern Iowa. This was the team we talked about in St. John's, Big East tournament champions, Big East regular season champions, back to back years. Nobody's ever done that. Northern Iowa shocked everybody, winning how many games was it in a row to win the Missouri Valley after you had left them for dead, famously on this very podcast, which you
Famously
had
on
to issue
this,
an apology about.
yeah.
St. John's is going to be hot. They're one of the better teams in the country. They didn't deserve a 5 seed. Give me the Johnnies. Shout out to that video going around of Patino firing up his team, which that was not the Yukon game. That was a different game that went viral. But man, Patino still got it.
Definitely does. I think them in Kansas should have been flip-flopped. You can maybe make an argument from them being a 3 seed, but I mean that's not. I'm
Yeah,
not
sending
gonna.
them all the way out west, not
That's
fair.
terrible. Going to San
Not fair.
Diego is terrible for them. But the good news is they play at 6:10 Central Time, so they're not like getting an 11 o'clock game and just there's circadian rhythms getting all messed up. Uh, I'll go St. John's here as well. Uh, as much as I have, the Northern Iowa, I was at this game, this Northern Iowa Texas game where Paul Jesperson shoots a half court shot to win this game. Tournament's back in Oklahoma City, so that's really exciting. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Johnnies here. They're rolling right now. Next up, Kansas and Cal Baptist. Cal Baptist, first time in the tournament, got into the tournament off a missed alley-oop in the Big West championship game.
Brutal
Uh,
for
but
Utah
they got to
Valley.
go
Brutal.
against Darren Peterson, so I'm gonna go
Yeah,
with
we're going with
Kansas here.
Kansas. I think Kansas. I've said all year. I think that they're good enough to win it all. It just seems like can they figure it out with their team gelling together? They have two of the best players in the Big 12 and Darren Peterson, one of the best players in the country. I'm talking about Flory Badunga as well. Um, and also Bill Self in March. So that's setting up an absolutely electric St. John's, Kansas game for the 4-5. Louisville, South Florida, we have our first upset. I'm picking South Florida. This is going to be a very popular pick. I am not the first person that has came up with this, but winners of 4 of their last 5, the South Florida Bulls coming into this game. Um, they're hot right now. Louisville is on the other side of that. I don't know. I just have a gut feeling.
And Louisville's a weird team. I did this last year. I picked Louisville over Creighton, and Creighton blew the doors off of them. So it's one of those fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice. Yeah, we don't get fooled again. I'm gonna go South Florida as well. A big story out of there. The head coach of South Florida, his dad has never seen him coach. They're in Buffalo, and I believe his dad has dementia. So this will be the first time that he's seen him. Some things, man, some things are bigger than sports. It's a good
That's
story,
awesome.
so we'll roll with that.
Next up, Michigan State, North Dakota State. Going with Michigan State, January, February, Izzo.
I
Michigan
agree.
State's a weird team. Um, Number one, they have this guy who's internet viral now called Cohen Carr. He does have an insane highlight tape. I will say. Um, Out of the Big Ten, I feel like everybody is just talking about teams like Illinois, teams like Michigan. People who aren't very smart are going to talk about Purdue. Um, but Michigan State's right there with them. They were right there with them all year. They struggled against Michigan specifically, but Michigan State, watch out for them in this region.
Yeah, it's a very solid region. Excited to see what happens with them, but yeah, I'm going with Michigan State as well. Then we have UCLA and UCF, and I think we talked about this. UCLA has to go to Philadelphia, but the game is at 6:25. I'm going with the Bruins here. And are you raising your voice at me?
Mick Cronin is really good in March.
Hmm.
This is the first time UCF is making the tournament in a long time under Coach Johnny Dawkins. They were like borderline bubble team. They had some good wins in the Big 12 this year, but I'm also going to go with UCLA.
We got UConn Furman. I'm gonna go UConn.
Yep, shout out Furman for making the tournament. Connecticut's going to be very, very angry, I think, after that debacle in Madison Square Garden, probably one of their worst games of the year. Um, and for a good UConn team. I am a little bit worried though about their guard play going forward. But Danny Hurley, I mean, the resume speaks for itself. He's one of the best coaches in college basketball. He's going to have UConn fired up. Do we want to go like continuing on into the round of 64, or do we want to like finish out each
I
region?
I would say let's get down with the round of 64, just
Okay,
because
we'll move to the South region.
we got Florida versus
Number
Purdue
one
A&M
seed
in
Florida. Yep. I have no idea between Prairie View and is it Lehigh?
Lehigh. Yeah,
Yep.
CJ McCollum
We'll
school.
go with Lehigh. Shout out CJ McCollum, but Florida is winning that game.
Yeah, whoever wins that game, Florida's gonna smoke them. Clemson, Iowa. I'm going Iowa, and I'll tell you why. This has nothing to do with their play. Both teams are pretty evenly matched. Ben McCollum, who is Iowa's head coach, was a coach at Drake, and he was a coach at Northwest Missouri State, who's in the same conference as UCO. So I got to watch him coach one game. Dude just wins. They he just knows how to win, and I think in this spot, uh, he'll get it done.
I tend to agree with you. I think Brad Brownell at Clemson is one of the underrated coaches as well in college basketball. Clemson's basketball program was left for dead till he got there. But I do think Iowa plays in a tougher conference in the Big Ten, and I think that um, they're going to win as well over over Clemson.
Shout out,
Bennett Sturts, shout
Bennett
out 20 a game.
Sturts. He's killing it. In Oklahoma City, Vanderbilt McNeese.
McNeese getting back to the dance after their coach, of course, Will Wade goes to NC State this year. Um, Vanderbilt coming off a huge win over Florida in the SEC tournament, eventually falling uh, to Arkansas in the championship game. I'm going to go with Vanderbilt. Um, they're 11 and a half point favorite in Oklahoma City. Tyler Tanner averages 19 a game. They play really good defense. Duke Miles, also one of their better players, guy that used to play at OU, transfers into Vanderbilt. Give me the Commodores.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Commodores too. They have some great wins on their resume. Beat Florida, beat Tennessee twice, uh, beat Alabama. Like they're capable. I'm gonna go Vanderbilt there. And then Nebraska Troy. I think Nebraska's gonna get it done. First NCAA tournament win in the Paycom Center in Oklahoma City. Going with the Corn Huskers.
I agree. Troy kind of wasn't picked to win the Sun Belt. Um, Ends up making a good run to get to the tournament. Coach Hoiberg in Nebraska makes history, getting their first win, like you said, in the NCAA tournament. North Carolina VCU. This is a tough matchup. VCU is a good team. North Carolina still without and will be without Caleb Wilson. We just don't really know what kind of team they are without him. Right now, VCU is just a 2.5 point dog. But it's always games like this where everybody is picking the underdog that I'm always like, well, but it's North Carolina. I mean, they still have really good guards. They still have Henry Vassar, who's one of the best, you know, post players in the ACC. This one's a toss up for me. Again, every time people pick, when everybody's on the underdog, I feel like they don't always win. So I'm going to pick North Carolina, and I think one or both of their guards have a big game.
Fun fact about Troy. Do you remember the six team that gauntlet that I told you about with the Sun Belt and the six-way tie for second place?
Hmm.
They were able to avoid that by winning their game and watching everyone fall around them. We're able to get first place, get like a bye all the way to the semifinals, and they did their business. But back to the North Carolina VCU game. I'm a sucker. I'm going VCU. They're hot right now. Obviously with no Caleb Wilson. That's just tough. You need him in March, and I don't think VCU's going to get it. And I don't think North Carolina's going to get it done without him. I'll take the Rams. You know, they were an 11 seed once before, and they went to the Final Four because of it. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Final Four this time, but I believe in the Rams. Great out of the Atlantic 10, a very solid conference there. Two-bit A10, by the way, and yep, gonna go with the Rams.
Who was the other one? Dayton.
St. Louis
Oh, right, St. Louis. Dayton
beat
upset St.
St.
Louis.
Louis. Yeah,
So Illinois pin Fran McCaffrey gets
the
another
return.
team to the dance, but I am going to go with Illinois. Brad Underwood's teams usually fare well in March, and Illinois is a really, really solid team, and led by a guy that's going to get drafted in the top 10, Keaton Wagler.
Do they have Peja Stojakovic's kid?
Yes.
Shoot, I mean, you got to go Illinois there. They're a solid team. A couple bumps in the road on their schedule, but nothing too crazy. Yeah, I'll go Illinois. Shout out TJ Power, had 40 against Yale, and Yale was like the big favorite going into the Ivy League tournament. They get the job done. Gotta go with Illinois though.
St. Mary's, Texas A&M. For me, this is St. Mary's. We talked about Texas A&M is cold coming into the tournament. They kind of squeak in based on their resume. Um, St. Mary's gets an at-large after not winning the West Coast, gets in as a 7 seed. That should tell you something. I think St. Mary's this year did have a win over Gonzaga, their arch rival. This is one of the better St. Mary's teams coming into March. Um, Give me the Gales.
So I went in the opposite direction. I picked Texas A&M. I believe in Bucky Paul with their head coach, who was previously at Samford. I think that Texas A&M just has a height advantage, and St. Mary's won't be able to respond to that. So I'm going with the upset here with Texas A&M.
Are you still watching the pros, Joes?
Yeah, it's 8-on-5 right now.
Nikki Smokes just hit the air conditioning unit trying to shoot a three. Tough.
No way.
Houston, Idaho. Idaho with our guy,
Yes.
the Big Hoss. Sadly, Big Hoss will end um, pretty quickly as it started. As Houston, I don't know what to really think about Houston in terms of long term, but I definitely think that they get the win over Idaho.
Yes. Shout out Brody Roberry from Meridian, Indiana,
Yep,
has the hairline of a
that man is
37-year-old.
not in twenties. In his 20s, he is 40 years old.
He
There's
is
been a
somehow in his
clerical
20s
error.
and 40 at the same time. Was a transfer from southeastern Louisiana. Idaho had a really
The
fun story
Vipers.
this year. Sixth seed in the Big Sky tournament and just won the whole dang thing. So kudos to them. But the run-ins in Oklahoma City going with Houston. To the West region. Battle of Ice
Arizona,
Teas.
fins up, fins up. We love
It's
you.
so over for them.
But they are running up against the buzzsaw that is Arizona. So I will be picking the Wildcats, Big 12 champions.
I will be doing the same thing. Villanova, Utah State.
Give me
Or
Villanova all day. I will never pick a Mountain West team. There's only been two Mountain West teams that have made the Sweet 16 in the last 20 years. Give me Villanova.
Villanova's last game was against 11 seed Georgetown, by
Tough.
the way. Just want to throw
Yeah, they
that
got
out there.
upset. They did get upset by Georgetown in that game, but I won't pick Utah State. I won't do it.
I'm
And
going to
it's
do it.
because I've been burned. It's not because I have the stats to back it up, but it's also because I've been burned multiple times.
That's fair. I'm still going Utah State. They've been a great team all year. They've won the Mountain West. They probably should have had more bids. I think San Diego State and New Mexico had very worthy cases of making it into the tournament, but they were not accepted in. Gonna go Utah State. I just think they're the better team than Villanova.
Utah State the favorite in this game, betting favorite. I mean, you're not off base at all. Um, Utah State, some of their notable wins against VCU, against some of the teams you mentioned, San Diego State multiple times, but Villanova has wins against Wisconsin and Butler, and they played St. John's and UConn tough most of the year. So that'll be a close game. Wisconsin High Point. High Point is a very common answer for one of the most dangerous double digit seeds, but I'm still going to go with Wisconsin. Um, High Point scores a lot of points, pun intended, but obviously they have not been able to play a team with the caliber of Wisconsin. I will say this: everybody always talked about 5-12, 5-12, 5-12. Five seeds are 64%, have won 64% of the time, but there has been at least one 12 seed that has defeated a five seed in 34 of 40 tournaments.
There's got to be one, and it's either for me. It's either them or Akron. Um, man, I think I'm gonna go High Point. They got a guy, and I don't feel great about it. Chase Johnston, wears number 99, shoots a bunch of threes. Just seems like the perfect like March Madness guy. So I think he'll carry. Wisconsin is such a weird team. I don't know if I could ever get a good read on them. They got blown out by BYU. They played it close with Michigan. They've done a really good job this year, but oh man, you know what?
Wisconsin,
I'm
yeah,
going Wisconsin.
Wisconsin,
I've changed my mind. I'm going Wisconsin.
they have wins over Michigan, Illinois, Michigan State, and Purdue.
Yeah, I've changed my mind. I'm going Wisconsin.
Two wins over Illinois, actually.
Yeah.
So, and
Had a
then
good
they
Big Ten
lost.
tournament too.
Yeah. So High Point, like I said, they average 90 a game. They score a lot of points, but I'm going with the Badgers. And then Arkansas, Hawaii, easy. Let's go Arkansas. Let's go Hogs.
The Hogs.
Um, we'll talk about it more later as we go further on in the brackets, but I have said before, and I'll say it again to you off air, that Arkansas has a Yukon type run in them with Acuff. He reminds me a lot of Kemba Walker, how he can score so quickly, and they are coached by a coach with a lot of pedigree and Coach Cal. They've got a lot of length inside, and I don't think they're in that tough of a bracket. I mean, yes, there is Arizona and Iowa State, but I love Arkansas.
Have you seen
SEC
Hawaii's
tournament champs.
defense?
Uh-uh.
They play like no help defense. So whoever is guarding Acuff is probably screwed. I might if you're gonna like do like any kind of bet, I feel like maybe 25 plus points on Acuff would be a good call. BYU versus either Texas or NC State. We're going
I'm
with the
gonna pick
boy.
Texas. to win that game.
Oh, oh wait, the first
Yeah,
four
first
game.
four.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go with BYU to win that game.
Yeah, I thought you were about to take Texas in an upset, but no, I'm going BYU as well. I mean, we've seen them
Coach
play. I
Miller is
know.
a good coach. Coach Miller is a good coach
Hmm.
for Texas with some success in March, but um, I think that they no they neither NC State or Texas has an answer for DeBonsa. They just don't. BYU also struggled after the loss of Richie Saunders, the heart of their team,
Hmm.
but they've kind of rebounded and found a different identity without him. And again, DeBonsa is a big march away from solidifying himself as the number one pick. So we'll see. Gonzaga, Kennesaw State. I got to go with the Zags. Um,
Yeah, thinking the same thing with Gonzaga.
yeah, their Kennesaw State does have a guy in Simeon Caudle who averages 20 a game. Shout out to him, but they are 20-point underdogs to the
That's
Zags.
incredibly tough. Lost to
26 straight NCAA tournaments for Gonzaga.
yeah, just a it's like them and Michigan State have like 25 years of just making the tournament consecutive. Uh, Miami, Missouri. I think I'm going with Missouri.
I am too.
Beat in St. Louis. That's just such an advantage for them. They've been they're kind of a team that like pulls the rabbit out of the hat. So I think they're gonna get that done in St. Louis.
Missouri has a win over Florida. Miami's beaten nobody. They have wins over nobody big. They had a solid season.
Beat
Um,
Louisville.
again,
I know you know I'm
six seed Louisville doesn't mean a whole lot to me,
okay.
especially with, like I said, Missouri has a win over Florida recently. So
Hmm.
give me give me the Tigers. Like you said, they also are basically going to have home court advantage. Purdue over Queens. Queens first time making the tournament. Give me Purdue in this game. That could
Shout out
change.
Queens.
Yep, shout out Queens. Um,
North
but
Carolina school, contrary to popular belief.
Purdue,
Purdue.
if there's going to be, I mean, an upset like this, it's going to be Purdue that's going to be a victim of it. But I don't think it will be this year with Queens.
Yeah. Queens is a solid team. Granted the Atlantic Sun, but yeah, no, I think it's Purdue.
On to the Midwest, the final round of 64 bracket that we're going to go through here. UMBC takes on Howard in the 16 first four matchup. Either way, Michigan's going to win that game.
I agree, but although it'd be pretty funny if the Terriers did it again.
Without Ryan Odom, now the coach
Yeah.
of
At
Virginia.
Virginia.
Georgia St. Louis.
Give me the Billikens. Give me Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Georgia's highest win total in a while. They had a good season, really good season. I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people were high on St. Louis last year, and they didn't do very much in the tournament. Um, got upset by Dayton in the conference tournament. Get an at-large bid.
So you mentioned that game. They probably should have had a technical foul shot after some Dayton players like ran off of the bench with a second to go.
For sure. I saw that.
So
Yeah.
throwing it out there, they maybe could have won that game, but Dade may be an Achilles heel. They lost to them twice, but they beat Santa Clara, they beat VCU twice. They're a more than capable team. I'm going with the Billikens here.
Hmm. I think I'm gonna go Georgia.
Yeah.
This is one of those games where it's just like I think there's a chance they blow them out, and you're like,
Ooh.
yeah, and you're looking at it, and you're just kind of like, oh wow, I'm surprised. But this happens sometimes. We're in the tournament. I'm going through all these years of data in my head right now, and sometimes this happens with Power Five teams. Used to be Power Five, Power Four teams, and these mid majors that get at large bids. Um, so I'm going to pick Georgia, and I don't feel good about it. Texas Tech, Akron. Here we go. This is. I'm sure you're also going to pick Akron. I'm going to pick Akron as
Hmm.
well. There's got to be a 5-12 upset. Texas Tech kind of limps into the tournament metaphorically and literally with JT Toppin not being there. They also lost one of their players in the Big 12 tournament to the LED court. Tough.
He should be
Um,
back for that game though. But
he
yeah, I
should be
agree with
back
you.
though. He should be back. Akron is a really solid team. The winner in the help me out the conference the
Mac.
MAC winner in the MAC, a two bid conference with Miami of Ohio getting an at large bid. Uh, give me the Zips. Shout out LeBron.
I'm also going with the Zips. I don't feel great about it. If JT Toppin was in, obviously I think they'd be a higher seed, but I'm going Akron here. I think Akron is
Yeah.
a great team, kind of viciously underrated. I think they've been to the tournament 3 years in a row now, so they are the kind of the class of the MAC.
Yeah, I think there was a high chance Akron beat Miami of Ohio in that championship game. Alabama Hofstra, Alabama dealing with some off the court problems this morning with one of their
Mhm.
players getting arrested and charged with a felony. Drug possession, tough.
Does that
Uh,
sway your mind at all?
no, I think Alabama and Nate Oates are going to beat Hofstra.
Okay. It would be really funny though if, Alabama not having its, chickens in order.
Hofstra, I will say, played UCF tight very early in the year, lost by 4. Got a win over Pitt, wins over Syracuse. Um, that's pretty big.
Syracuse has fallen so hard. Goodness gracious. That's so
They have,
sad.
they have.
Need to fix
Go
it.
back to the 2-3 zone, cowards. Um, but I mean, LeBaron Filon is one of the best scorers in college basketball. I don't think Hofstra has somebody that's going to be able to guard them. I think Alabama is just going to be able to out physical Hofstra just with the amount of guys.
Bruce Davis, solid player, but it was Holloway that got arrested, right?
Yeah, Nate
That's
Holloway, right?
Aiden Holloway,
Aiden. Yeah,
her second best player. I don't
it'll
know.
be,
I'm
it'll
gonna go.
affect the game. He'll definitely most likely be
They'll
out
probably
for
play him
that
still,
game.
yeah. Nate Oates, just doing
Tennessee,
whatever.
Tennessee taking on Miami of Ohio, SMU. I do think Miami of Ohio gets the win in that game against SMU. The first ever team to make the tournament with 0 quad one wins as an at large, Miami of Ohio. Um, I'm tempted to pick them over Tennessee. Rick Barnes always chokes in March.
Rick Barnes always chokes before the Final Four. I think they're gonna get it done. I think. Well, okay, so two things could happen with Miami of Ohio. Miami is either gonna wither because they lost, or they're gonna take this opportunity, play with reckless abandon. Because I think toward the end there, they, they're like, oh, we got this undefeated record, so they were playing a little tight. I think that they will play looser, and that could benefit them, but I still have Tennessee winning. I just think they're overmatched compared to Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, I think Tennessee, um, also with Nate Ament, another potential lottery pick, um, just again just has too many horses. I keep saying that, but famously last year, there was not a lot of upsets in last year's tournament.
Hmm.
I hope I'm not right, but we could see that again this year. There just aren't as many dangerous double digit seeds uh, as we've had in the past. Now, the years where we've had like crazy upsets were teams that nobody expected. I'm talking St. Peter's. I'm talking Farley Dickinson stuff like that. But this year, at least just on paper, um, To me, Akron really is the only team that could really jump up and bite another guy. High Point as well. You picked them to beat
Now,
Wisconsin.
I picked
Oh
Wisconsin.
no, you flip. Yeah, you flopped
I
back. But
flip-flopped. Yeah.
so next game we have is Virginia Wright State. I'm going to pick Virginia.
I'm also going to pick
Very,
Virginia.
yeah, very common pick to make it out of this region. Virginia is a really good team, coached by Ryan Odom, as we mentioned earlier, coached that UMBC team, um,
He
who
coached
famously
them.
beat Virginia.
He coached Utah State. He coached VCU, and has now ended up at Virginia, replacing Tony Bennett. Um, I like them a lot, and I'll kind of touch on this because as we're going to go to Kentucky Santa Clara, you mentioned that there's not a lot of like Cinderella stories. Here's the problem. I think there's a lot of great double-digit teams. I think the problem is the matchups that they run into in the second round kind of end a lot of those stories. I could see maybe one of them slipping through the cracks here and there, but I think when you just look at, and this is, I mean, a spoiler for later. I got Santa Clara beating Kentucky, um, but then I look at Iowa State in the next round. I'm like, okay, your run's done.
Hmm.
Yeah, give me Santa Clara, give me Iowa State.
Yeah, I'll pick Iowa State as well over Tennessee State, and I'll go Kentucky just to go opposite of you. I wouldn't be surprised if Santa Clara wins that game. I watched them play against Gonzaga in the conference tournament championship. They're a solid team. I do think Kentucky is just right there. They have a lot of really good players. They've lost a lot of close games in a really tough conference in the SEC. Uh, so I think Mark Pope in that squad is maybe a year away from making a lot of noise. But I do think they'll get that win over Santa Clara. All right, back up to the East.
Round of 32.
Duke TCU. I'm going Duke.
Also going Duke. I have Duke TCU as well. Go Duke.
St. John's, Kansas. Man, this is tough.
I got St.
I'm
John's.
I'm gonna pick Kansas because I
Really?
think I think Darren Peterson is the difference. I can see him going off in that game. St. John's is scrappy. They've got a really great coach, two legendary coaches here in the round of 32 going at it.
Get
I
Patino versus Self in the second round. Like, what a blessing.
This is still out west. I just think I'm thinking about it now. I think we're a little bit blinded by St. John's um, performance in the Big East Tournament Championship, where Rick Pitino owns Madison Square Garden. Uh, that was a really, I mean, almost a home game for them. I know UConn fans. There were a lot of UConn fans there, but they've only lost 4 games at home in the last 2 seasons. St. John's. They're going to be on the complete other coast. This is going to be a game where I feel like a lot of people are counting Kansas out. I think a lot of people are counting Kansas out in general for this tournament. Kansas is going to hear the noise that they should not have been the 4 seed and it should have been St. John's. I'm going to go with Kansas.
I'm gonna continue to go with St. John's. Kansas, like the game's in, is it San Diego, right? Like Kansas is still far away from San Diego, so both teams will be dealing with the same thing, but they'll have a couple hours to adjust. So I just think St. John's is more consistent. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with a more consistent team with St. John's.
South Florida, Michigan State. I'm going with Michigan State.
I'm as
Um,
well. January, February is a
yep, South Florida's run comes to an end. UCLA, UConn. Honestly, this is a tougher game than you might think. I don't know a lot about this UConn. I don't know about this UConn team. Um, Mick Cronin in March. This UCLA team has wins over Purdue, over Illinois, over Michigan State, uh, Connecticut with wins over Kansas, Illinois, a close loss to Arizona, win over Florida. I think UConn. I'm gonna choose to believe that they stabilize after that Big East tournament, and I'm gonna pick Connecticut for a completely chalk East region. 1, 2, 3, and 4 make it to the Sweet 16.
So here's the thing. Since 2010, the all four two seeds have made the Sweet 16 twice. I looked through the other matchups that I have, and I think UCLA is the best matchup between these two. It's almost a principal pick. I'm going UCLA, and I think I hate it, but that's what I'm going with because stats say that a two seed's going to fall at some point. It just depends on which one, because again, it's only happened twice that all four two seeds have gone in. So, and that was 2019 and 2024. So, I'm gonna go with UCLA.
You know what two seeds losing. It's not UConn.
Over
Starts with a
Missouri
P
though,
and ends in an Urdu.
that's the thing. I think I trust Purdue against Missouri more than I trust UConn against UCLA. I think
Oh, not
Purdue
me.
could fall like later on. I don't believe in that Mizzou team. I think they, I don't know. I don't
They
quite
did.
believe
They
in
beat
them.
Florida recently.
Yeah, but I mean, it just feels like they've
UCLA
had a
doesn't have
lot of
any.
luck.
UCLA doesn't have a lot of big wins. Got blown out by Michigan twice.
Beat Michigan State in the
They
tournament,
did meet Michigan State.
beat Illinois,
It
beat
seems like
Purdue.
everybody's. I don't know. I don't know if I love Illinois anymore because we keep saying wins over Illinois, wins over Illinois.
Illinois
Um,
is the oh, what are they? They're like the that's how you know if you're a good team or not is if you beat Illinois.
I think they just split with a lot of teams, but
Yeah, that's
um,
probably it. But yeah, I'm going UCLA and I'm not a fan of it, but that's what I'm rolling with.
Mick Cronin versus Izzo in the Sweet 16 would be sweet. Florida, Iowa, Florida for me, pretty easy.
I'm going
Iowa, Ben
Florida as
McCollum's
well.
run ends. Iowa's a solid team, though. Vanderbilt, Nebraska, I'm going Vanderbilt. I don't think Nebraska gets two wins in the tournament, but they got their one, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I think that's what that'll happen. If Nebraska go to the Sweet 16, they're gonna get mollywopped by by Florida just because they'll be Canes of Lincoln, Nebraska, and I
Yep.
think that'll
SEC
get to them.
tournament rematch in the Sweet 16 all of a sudden between Florida and Vanderbilt.
Yes, that's gonna be electric.
North Carolina, Illinois, we just kind of dunked on Illinois a little bit. See, now I'm talking to myself into Carolina because everybody thinks they're not going to be good without Caleb Wilson. And they're a really good team. They just don't have him.
That's the
Um,
X factor. That's why I picked against
well,
them
I mean,
because they don't have that X factor.
he would lead them to me to like they could make the final four if they still had Caleb Wilson.
Yeah.
But even without him, they have two really solid guards in Dixon and Trimble. We talk about guard play being so critical in March. Um, let's look at North Carolina's. They did lose to Clemson in the ACC tournament.
I don't think that game was close either.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I just yeah. Well, I'll go Illinois, and I don't feel great about it.
I'm going with the Rams of VCU. I picked them against North Carolina. I'm going to pick them against Illinois. Gotta have an upset here. Another one that when I say it out loud, I don't feel great about, but Illinois just feels, I don't know. There's just some about them that I can't fully get behind. I'll probably get burned by this, but I'm gonna go VCU here. You got to have a double digit seed in a bracket or in the Sweet 16. That's who I'm sticking with, VCU.
Good pick. St. Mary's, Houston. I'm going with Houston. Um, this will be a tougher game than people think. I do think Houston has a lot more size inside.
Mhm.
You got to remember too, Houston starts two freshmen and a third freshman plays a lot. That's not common at all for Kelvin Sampson in Houston. That is uncharted waters for them. But now they've had a whole season together and they're just going to be I mean every game is more more experience for those guys, for those young guys. And so I'm going to go with Houston.
I have A&M in Houston. Going with Houston for the same reasons you just said. I won't take too much time off of it.
Arizona Villanova, a battle of two blue bloods. I'm going to go with Arizona.
Going with Arizona over Utah State on my end. I think Arizona's the best team right now in the country.
Wisconsin Arkansas, a great 4-5 in the round of
Phen
32.
Phenomenal matchup.
Give me Arkansas. Wisconsin just doesn't have an answer for Acuff, especially at the end.
Not yeah.
Give me
I
the Hogs.
I also going with the Hogs. A Cup is so good. They're gonna ride this momentum into the Sweet 16, which that Sweet 16 matchup we both have. That's going to be a classic.
Where's that going to be at?
West region. Uh, where's the West region at?
We'll look at it in a second.
Okay,
BYU
yeah.
Gonzaga. I'm taking BYU.
Man, I thought about that too. I just think they're if they had Richie Saunders, I'd feel differently, but because I think um
Yeah, other guys have been
Gonzaga's
stepping up
more
though.
healthy,
Robert Wright's been stepping up.
he has. West Regional is in San Jose.
Nice. I feel like
But
that benefits Arizona.
oh,
Um,
absolutely.
Barstool team now has Zaw playing because it's 10 on 5. Um,
Uh, I'm going Gonzaga, and I also hate it. Um, and then I have Missouri Purdue. I got Purdue, so I have a Sweet 16 matchup that I just despise.
I am taking Missouri over Purdue out of principle,
Really?
out of principle, because you said there's never been 4-2 seeds to make it, and I definitely think Iowa State is making it. Um, so I will always pick against Purdue. I'm just gonna keep doing it, like till they prove that they are not just a bunch of losers. Uh,
They made the national championship game a few years ago.
I don't care. They lost to Farley Dickinson, who was the worst team in the history of the tournament. Am I right? In like of all the metrics,
They are pretty daggum close.
they
They didn't
had
even win their
Edie.
conference
They
tournament,
had
right?
Edie in that game.
I know.
Let's just look at the matchup here. Mark Mitchell's a dog, first of all, for Missouri. Dog.
Yeah.
Missouri beat Alabama this year. They beat Nebraska. They beat Michigan also. Oh, wait, that was, no, I'm sorry. Back up. That's Purdue. Missouri beat Florida, beat Kentucky, beat Vanderbilt, and beat Tennessee.
Look at that loss with Illinois, though.
In
91 to
December.
48.
December is tough. That's a tough 50-point loss in December.
Alabama 90 to
They
64.
also beat Florida. Missouri also beat
They did. That
Florida
was in
in January.
January, though. Florida's gotten a lot better since then, and I Purdue has the hot hand, winning the Big Ten championship, beating a beating a
Really good
Michigan
Michigan
team that's
team.
a one seed. Like they're a really solid team, and I know it's Purdue, but you have to give them that. So I will go with Purdue to advance to the Sweet 16. You're going with Missouri.
Since 2015, two seeds are 12 and 2 against 10 seeds. One of those two wins by 10 seeds came last year, Arkansas over St. John's.
So it could happen again. Shoot. Midwest region. You have
I don't
Eastern
know. I don't
Georgia.
feel good about that pick. I don't feel good about that pick, but I can't pick all 4 2 seeds.
I know. I know. So you have to do what you have to do. I totally understand.
And I definitely don't think that Kentucky is beating Iowa State.
I don't either. No, you have to do that. It's either them or UConn. Purdue feels like the most
I
vulnerable
don't feel
somehow because
I
it's
don't
Purdue.
feel good about UConn. I don't feel great about UConn. Or I would feel bad about UCLA beating UConn. And I
Yeah.
really don't think St. Mary's is beating Houston.
Yeah, you have to choose one, it feels like, and that, yeah.
But then I feel like Purdue would be is a good matchup for BYU. You said it's happened twice.
Probably.
You said it's happened twice.
It's happened in 2019, since this is since 2010. It's happened in 2019 and it's happened in 2024. So two times in 16 years, or I guess 15 years because COVID. They're not bad odds, but they're not great odds.
That game is in St. Louis as well. Missouri's going to have a big crowd.
You know,
We're going with Missouri. Michigan, Georgia, Michigan.
got Michigan and St. Louis. I'm going Michigan.
Akron, Alabama, Akron. I'll do it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with
This is where
Alabama.
this is where I think maybe the if they don't have their second best player comes into effect. I mean, there's if you don't play in the first game, he ain't playing in the second game. It's
Yeah,
2 days later.
I reserve the right to change that if he gets suspended. Um,
Okay, yeah. I assume he's getting suspended. He got charged with a felony.
oh, felony. Okay, you know what? I'm going Akron too. There's no. Well, you never know. Brendan Miller was an accessory to murder, and I think he still played. I don't think he missed a game.
Allegedly provided the gun.
Allegedly,
Allegedly. Now he's an NBA star. But yeah,
he's in Charlotte. Yeah, but
Charlotte's
yeah, I'll go
good.
Akron too. I'll go Akron too.
Tennessee, Virginia. Give me Virginia.
Going Virginia as well. Pretty simple. Rhino
In
and
Kentucky,
yeah.
Iowa State. I got to go with Iowa State.
Also
Um,
going Iowa State. I have them over Santa Clara.
that's a game where I feel like Iowa State's defense. If Iowa State could shoot free throws, they would maybe be a Final Four team. Like given they're so good, it's like the Jonah Hill Moneyball meme where it's like he's good at every single thing. What's his defect? He can't shoot free throws. That's Iowa State. All right, we're into the Sweet 16. Duke, Kansas. Just an absolute. This region, if this shakes out, Duke, Kansas, Michigan State, UConn. That's just like you can't ask for better
Blue
region.
Blood City. Yeah.
Sweet 16 than that. Man, this is tough.
I want to go.
For
I have
me,
Duke
for
St.
me,
John's.
you have St. John's. For me, I have Kansas. Kansas, Duke doesn't have a guy to guard Peterson. That would have been Foster.
Hmm.
Um, but also, and Kansas does have a guy that can guard Boozer in Padunga. Remember, famously, Darren Peterson did not play against Duke earlier in the year.
He
Hmm.
better play this time. That's all I'm going to say.
He played every minute of the Big 12 tournament.
Oh, that's good. I have Duke over St. John's. Is Liam bleeding?
Yeah. Yeah, he was on the ground a second ago.
Oh goodness, he's got a big old cut. Um, yeah, I got Duke over St. John's. I think last year I picked St. John's to go to the Elite Eight. I'm not making the same mistake twice.
That was so earlier in the year, though, too. I will say in early November, Duke's resume is crazy. Kansas, Florida, Michigan State, Michigan, 2 wins over a good Virginia team.
Only
Um,
once twice. It's a great resume. I mean, that's why the number one overall seed. Although I do think it should have been Arizona, but that's just me. Um,
Kansas with wins over Tennessee, Iowa State, Arizona, Houston. I'm gonna go with Duke.
yeah,
I think John Shire is a really good coach, and I hate to say it because I don't like Duke, but I think
yeah,
he's a really good coach, and I think he's just going to keep getting better. Um, and I think this is going to be
unfortunately.
one of those moments for him, getting a big win over Bill Self and maybe the best player in the country in Darren Peterson. Michigan State, UConn. It all depends on if UConn gets their footing back and if they're playing like they were playing. I'm trying not to be blinded by the result of the Big East tournament. And a game in which St. John's just came out and punched him in the mouth. That's what happened. They punched him in the mouth. They weren't ready. UConn couldn't buy a basket in the first half. They were like 1 of 13 from three. I think UConn is a really good team, and I think Michigan State is a really good team. Both have been battle tested. UConn has an insanely good resume. It's a coin flip for me, and I'm going to go with UConn.
I have Michigan State, UCLA. They just played not even like less than a week ago in the Big Ten tournament. I think UCLA won 88 to 84. But then again, it's January, February. Also, Tom Izzo does not care about the Big Ten tournament. He's going to care about this game. Go to Michigan State. South region. I think we both have Florida
I'm
Vanderbilt.
changing my pick to Michigan
Oh,
State.
all right.
You're right. January, February, Izzo. When in doubt, go with Coach Izzo,
Hmm.
a guy who's only ever won one national championship, but it's fine. Um, Florida Vanderbilt rematch of the SEC tournament. I think Florida gets revenge.
I think so too. It's big for them.
That's a big
Uh,
win for Vanderbilt. Florida definitely wanted to
it
win
is.
the SEC tournament.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I I think that they'll have to shoot better, obviously. Um, but if they go cold again, that's concerning. But I don't think they will. I think that may have been a fluke. I'll go Florida.
Illinois, Houston, give me Houston.
I got VCU, Houston. Give me Houston as well. South region. You know where it's at? Houston.
Yep. Sets up a really great Florida Houston Elite Eight.
Rematch of the national title game from last year.
Let's in the West, can we briefly table Arizona, Arkansas and
I'm
go to
okay
the
with
other
that.
game?
Yeah.
Go to the other game. For me, BYU, because we're way off on it. We're way off on this between each other. Because I have BYU, Missouri in this game.
Yeah. I have Gonzaga
Missouri
here.
doesn't have a guy to guard DeBonsa. So I'm picking BYU. They're doing it for Richie. They're doing it for
Hmm.
Richie. Nobody believes in them. And what if DeBonsa starts scoring like 40 a game? What if? What if?
It just goes on a one-man tear. That'd be really.
It's happened before.
It has. It has. But
It just kind of worked out that way. I don't think BYU is as good of a team as that. I definitely don't think that they're an Elite Eight team, especially without Saunders. But just that's kind of just how it worked out.
that's how the matchup works. Uh,
It could
I think
easily
I
be
picked BYU
Gonzaga
to
in
go to
that game.
the Elite Eight last year.
It could easily be Gonzaga in that game. Go into the Elite Eight.
I got Gonzaga beating Purdue for the same reasons you mentioned earlier. That's where I think they fall. So I'll go Gonzaga there.
All right, Arizona, Arkansas. You've said it before, and I agree with you. I think Arizona is playing the best ball in the country. They just won the probably the best conference.
The best
Um,
conference.
Big 12, Big 10, eat your heart out. Um, that being said, I'm a believer in Coach Cal. I'm a believer in these Hogs. I'm a believer in Darius Acuff Jr. I'm picking Arkansas in an upset.
Whoa. No. Respectfully, you're flat out wrong. This Arizona team is the best in the country. They'll know how to contain Acuff. I know Acuff is really good. This Arizona team just knows how to win. It being in San Jose, that's another big advantage for them. Arizona, they're going to win an instant classic here, but they do so much right. And I think that they're more consistent. I think Arkansas can be volatile at times. They got blown the heck out by Florida not too long ago, and they've had some seesaw battles, and I don't know. I think Arizona's going to get it done.
That could very well be the case. I've watched a lot of Arizona basketball this year. They are 10 deep with guys.
Mhm.
Um, they don't do one thing really well. They do everything really, or they don't do one thing that really stands out. They're just good at everything. They have the Big 12 Player of the Year, which I thought was a complete sham, but he did make
And then
that
he had that.
amazing shot against Iowa State.
Bravo to him. Well done.
Um, Tommy Lloyd has a lot of experience when he was an assistant at Gonzaga. He's now been in Arizona for quite a few years, had some success in the tournament. Again, there's just something about this Arkansas team. I can feel it. I feel it in my bones that they could go on a run. They may lose in the first game, but Acuff and Brazil and Richmond, I think those guys can go on a real run. I see UConn in them. I can see it. I can see those UConn teams of old. Coach Cal is a student of the game. He knows what it takes to win in March. He's going to have a game plan for Arizona when it comes to that time. And again, like you said, they got absolutely blitzed by Florida a couple months ago. That turned around their season because I don't think they've lost the game since then. Winning the SEC tournament. Go Hogs.
You know who
Michigan
beat
Akron, give me Michigan.
but
Michigan in a
you
blowout.
know who beat Florida? Arizona.
Yes, they did.
It is in
Arizona's very, very
November.
good.
Win's a win. I got
You know
Michigan
who
after
else
Duke.
beat?
Give
You
me
know who else
Michigan.
beat Florida? You know who else beat Florida? Missouri.
Duke. Oh,
Uh,
freaking.
Michigan, Akron, Sweet Six or Cinderella run-ins here. Michigan, I think, blows them out.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Then Virginia, Iowa State. That's a
This might be
very,
50 to 48.
yeah.
This
This is
Virginia
gonna be a
Iowa State game.
slog. Who you going with?
I'm gonna go Iowa State.
I think I'm gonna do the same. Uh,
How many Big 12 teams do I have in the Elite Eight? I have three.
I also have three. I think we may have ended up with I think maybe all but
I have
one.
I have one ACC, two Big 10, two SEC, three Big 12.
I have
One of those being BYU.
one SEC, three Big 12, two Big 10, one West Coast conference team. So Elite Eight, I got Duke, Michigan State. As much as I wanna pick the Spartans. I think yeah, I go Duke here. I'm going Duke. For again.
Famously, Michigan State beat Duke in the tournament when they had Zion and RJ Barrett, Tyus Jones.
All right, you convinced me. I'm going Michigan State.
I mean, that was a Coach K team. It's a different era now. Very similar, but a different era. Um, the last time a three seed beat a one seed was Texas Tech over Gonzaga in 2019.
Oh, I'll change my pick back to Duke.
Since 2007, one seeds have won 16 of 19 meetings versus three seeds.
Mm,
I'm taking Duke to make the Final Four.
I'm not taking Duke. All right, South region, Florida, Houston.
I'm picking Florida. I think the inexperience of Houston catches up to them right here. This is the defending national champion, Florida, with a really, really good team. They're a one seed. If they're hitting their threes, they will blow your doors off. Even if they're just average on threes, they can win close games. It's tough that Houston loses at home, essentially, in the Elite Eight. But I think Todd Golden is a really good coach, even though he's a jerk and perhaps
Perhaps a bad guy.
nefarious. What?
I said perhaps a bad guy.
Yeah, perhaps nefarious,
Hmm.
but give me the Gators. I think that they go back to the Final Four.
Man. So I think the art of revenge here for Houston. They're gonna remember that game. They remember that game, that national championship game that they almost won. And they're gonna look at that Florida team and they're gonna go, we can't have that happen again. In our hometown, in Houston, in the Toyota Center, I think that they are gonna be just they're going to refuse to let that happen. And I'm going with Houston. I'm going with
Mm,
Houston.
I think you may have convinced me, but this just isn't a Houston team like before. Like I said, they're very young. Um, Flemings is a stud though.
I don't know. After that Vanderbilt loss, Florida looks vulnerable. I mean, if you can get them on a bad shooting night, you can beat them.
Some would say maybe they. Well, I'm as a person who said that they wanted to win that game. Um, I do think Florida knows the value of extra rest, but they wanted to win that game because they were about to play Arkansas and they were probably saying to themselves, we could blow those guys out. But this is a tough matchup. Florida's got wins against Alabama, against Arkansas earlier in the year in like November and December. They lost to Arizona, Duke, and UConn. Houston, though, doesn't have a ton of quality wins. They couldn't get the job done against Arizona every time. I'm really regretting not picking Arizona. It's fine. Um,
You can change. Like,
I'm picking Florida. I'm picking Florida, and then I'm picking Arkansas to make the Final Four. I'm committing. I'm committing to it.
okay. I got Arizona Gonzaga. I'm going Arizona. Simple as that. And then I
That's
got
probably what's going to
Michigan.
happen. That's most likely what's going to happen.
I got Michigan, Iowa State.
I got Michigan.
I'm going back and forth on it. I got if I pick Michigan, I got three one seeds in.
I have it right now. That's common.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, Michigan is a really good team. And if I do pick Iowa State, I have three Big 12 teams in the Final Four. There's no way that happens.
No.
I'm going to go Michigan.
Yeah. And
So
then for
just to
me,
recap, your Final Four.
Duke, Florida, Arkansas, Michigan.
Okay.
I feel good about that because there's no way it's going to be the 4-1 seeds. So the only thing I'm really worried about is Arizona, but that would be 4-1s. So if I had to flip flop, I maybe would do Houston over Florida and then put Arizona in there. But all in all, I feel good about this Final Four.
So I have Duke, Houston, and Arizona, Michigan. Same thing as you, 3-1 seeds. And that's what kind of makes me hate my bracket a little bit is just because there's not a lot of upsets, there's not a lot of topsy-turviness. But I think that's just the nature of the game of the bracket this year in general. There's not a lot of Cinderella teams.
Yeah. The Barstool Joes just had to get to 7. They jumped out to a 4-0 lead and they just lost. Tough.
I saw that Jason Williams and Nikki Smokes are fighting or they're talking smack.
Two Florida guys going at
Yeah,
it.
well, Florida, UCF, Miami. He went to like all the schools in Florida, I think, Nicky Smokes.
Tough.
Jason Williams, Marshall guy, by the way.
Duke, Florida.
Yeah.
I'm going with Duke. Duke's resume is hard to deny. At this point, now you're looking at maybe Foster comes back if they make it this far. Um, I think Boozer is going to go on a nice run in the tournament, and I think that Duke has been one of the top two or three teams in the country all year long, and they make it to the championship. Where is it at? Oh, it's in Indianapolis this year. You know where coach every single time that the championship in the Final Four has been in Indianapolis, Duke has won.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm picking Duke, and then I'm going with Michigan. Those have been the two best teams all year, along with Arizona.
Yeah, I'm going Duke over Houston and then Arizona over Michigan. I'm a firm believer in this Arizona team. They they win games. You mentioned it. They are good at everything. They are a jack of all trades. They know different ways to beat you, and I think that they're going to do that against that Michigan team. So my national championship, Duke, Arizona.
Yeah, and I'm picking Duke. Pains me. It pains me, but I'm trying to win.
Hmm.
And how many total points do I think will be scored? I'll go 162. Submit.
I I'm going with the team. I think when they beat UConn, I said, Arizona is going to be the team to watch this year, and they're an early favorite because they had the big wins against Florida and Connecticut in November. And I still firmly believe that. So I'm going Arizona to win the national title over Duke. We're going to bear down with the Wildcats. I don't know. They need to really figure out why, what's up with that. But I'm going Zona.
That's a great pick, and I think it's tough for me because I don't even have them making the Elite Eight, but um, they're the best team in the best conference. That means something.
It has to mean
They're
something.
loaded.
And
They're loaded.
I feel like it's been, well, I guess it's been 2022 since the Big 12 has won national title. I think it happens again, and I think that Arizona's going to get the job done against Duke. It's going to be a great game. Going Zona, but it
All
wouldn't
right.
surprise me if Duke won. I think like those are the two best teams. So
Yeah, along with probably Michigan. Michigan did lose a key player though to an ACL injury. That
Michigan's
could come.
third best, I think. Because
Yeah,
I think
that
that's
could come.
literally how the bracket is set up. I think Arizona was the number two overall seed, and Michigan was the number three overall seed.
Yeah, I'm excited for this tournament, man. I
Me
think
too.
there's a lot of really good teams and not a lot of, like we've said, not a lot of Cinderellas, but you never know. We could be wrong. We could be completely wrong.
Yeah. No,
I was, this is the biggest hot take maybe I have. I don't mind a lot of upsets in general when it's like 10 over 7, stuff like that. But like the year with like St. Peter's and Farley Dickinson and all that, I was kind of I was like, this is kind of like Mickey Mouse. Um, but that was a very unique year in general. I like the Blue Bloods. Like that East region just has me salivating with all the Blue Bloods, you know? That's what I want to see. I want to see best on best.
I like Cinderella stories. I think it's fun. I think seeing like an Akron team or like St. Peter's come out of nowhere and Oral Roberts lot in 2021. That was
That was fun.
such a fun time.
I I like Cinderellas
Hmm.
to a point.
No, that's fair. I think when they get to the Sweet 16, you're like, all right, you know. So
Yeah,
I get that, and that's when you want like, okay, let's have those best teams step up in the Elite Eight and the
yeah.
Final Four.
And I love it. I love when a player just dominates.
Hmm.
Uh, which is for my bracket, hopefully what DePonce does. That is actually, I mean, yes, I'm staking my claim in A Cuff Island big time. but it all hinges on Debansa. If he comes out and lays like a 10-point dud, then they're losing their first game.
Yeah.
So, and I have them going to the Elite Eight. So
I mean, that's what made it tough to go against them, really. I think it's a gnat flying around, whatever.
it's about to
Um,
be 13 on 5. Joes versus the pros.
so eventually they're gonna go to 15 on 5, and then if that doesn't work, it's gonna be 15 on 4, and then they keep going down. What in the
They only have to score
world?
7 points. They've been only having to score 7 points.
They had to go to 11 earlier. Was that just for five, like the 5 on 5 and stuff?
I think so.
Okay. That's
Any other
funny.
thoughts?
No,
I feel good about my bracket. Um, Famously, two-time back-to-back years. I did pick Villanova, North Carolina, back-to-back. Won the bracket challenge within my own household. So have that on my resume.
and we'll go ahead and tell the people about our Bracket Palooza. Going for two is having a Bracket Palooza. It is on the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. You come compete against us. You won't win a prize, but it'll be fun. Um, I don't. This economy's tough, man.
Tough.
We can't do a prize this year. Sorry. Um, but yeah, we're doing a Bracket Palooza. Come on, join us. Come try to beat us. We will add that in the link in the description on the podcast. We'll put it on our social medias for anyone who wants to join. So it is the Going for Two Bracket Palooza public. It's a public deal, so you should be able to find it. That'll be released. Check out the extra point that comes out on Fridays on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. And yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope. Thank you all for listening and watching. Be sure to comment. Be sure to subscribe. Um, both of us are on Instagram and x.com. Be sure to follow us for all updates. Follow Going for Two Pod IP on x.com, where we give all of our updates and any schedule changes.
And Instagram. One last
And
time.
Instagram. Correct.
Fins up. Have a good one, everybody.